Ayaz Nassar was born in the Belgian Congo, in the city of Stanleyville, now called Kisangani. His family had been businessmen and traders for several generations, tracing their original ancestry back to British India. Ayaz's father immigrated to the Belgian Congo from Mombasa, Kenya at the age of 17 to join the family business. In Stanleyville, he built a successful trading empire, dealing in ivory, rubber, coffee, and palm oil. He was also a leading real estate developer.
I learned a lot with just the ways and manners in which he conducted his life. You could see that he had a very powerful, but a very honest and trustworthy depth in his personality. And he always used to tell me, surround yourself with good people. That was one of the vital lessons over there of my childhood, that your trust and your honor is the ultimate. For him, a handshake was sufficient.
Ayaz, along with his 7 siblings, would receive an international schooling. For 10 years, they went to primary schools in Stanleyville. Then, after the Congo's independence from Belgium in 1960, Ayaz and his younger brother left to spend their high school years at the Burn Hall School in the foothills of the Himalayas.
The Burn Hall School was truly one of the finest educational institutions of the region that were run by these Jesuit fathers that came from the Mill Hill Society in London. We were all like Spartans, living in a very disciplined environment, and they had subscribed to the Cambridge University curriculum. And as a matter of fact, when my brother and I graduated from there, we applied to schools in England, and we had an acceptance from every college that we had applied to.
When it came time to apply for college, Ayaz chose Cardiff University in Wales, where he spent 2 years, and then joined the University of Brussels in Belgium to pursue a medical career. At the same time, 2 of his brothers were in the United States studying business and marketing at Ohio State University. One brother, Mehboob, was primed to follow in their father's business footsteps when tragedy struck, and he was killed in an apartment fire at the university.
But this tragedy that struck him on this fateful day in 1972 was a turning point in my life. And so at the time, I decided to give up medicine and go into business. And I changed my curriculum at the University of Brussels and applied for admission to the United States.
Ayaz moved to America in the early 70s and did his undergraduate studies in business at Ohio State University.
As I ventured there, it was an awesome, inspiring visit for me to see a new nation with such large roads and cars and buildings. But most importantly, when I went to the Midwest, found people to be very friendly and very warm.
After graduation in 1975, Ayaz decided to return to the Congo to resurrect the family business. After independence, however, the region had undergone traumatic upheavals, and the economy was in shambles. Much of the family property and interests had been nationalized by the government. In fact, the family residence had been confiscated and converted into the presidential palace by Mobutu. With the help of the American Embassy and Consular Officer Thomas Randall Jr., Ayaz requested a visa to emigrate back to the United States. He then traveled to London to tell his father of his plans to return and start a business in America.
And he was quite excited, very intrigued about my thoughts back then to expand into that part of the world. But as fate would have it, it all changed when I met my wife-to-be, Najma. We fell in love and we very quickly got married, and that was again a turning tide for my future direction from here, and that left the US on the back burners.
Family connections in Hong Kong offered the newlyweds a secure start in married life, and the couple moved to the island nation in 1977, where Ayaz worked in banking.
My father encouraged me also to look at it because this was an area of the world that had helped him build his businesses over the years, as he was an avid traveler in the 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s to Hong Kong, Japan, China.
3 of Ayaz's 4 children were born in Hong Kong, but people were beginning to leave in advance of the handover to China. With concerns for his children's education and his business future, the idea of America beckoned again. One of his brother-in-laws suggested he take a look at Houston, where he had moved in the early 80s.
We flew here in the summer of '89, a hot, torrid, humid day. But I must say to you that my first visit was truly one that gave me a sense of a feeling of a wonderful place, because the people were so friendly, so warm, so kind wherever we went.
An early business contact Ayaz would make in Houston was Musa Dakri, the chairman of Wallace State Bank. Musa invited him to join the board of the bank.
As they say, behind every successful man there is a woman. I think behind every successful businessman there is a successful banker. And in many ways, the bank was a great opportunity for me to build my business and develop into what we are today.
At the same time, Ayaz formed Zenith Real Estate Group and developed a very successful commercial real estate business. Zenith is now the largest owner and manager of real estate in the West Chase Business District west of the Beltway.
We start our day 8 o'clock every morning in this office, where all the managers convene and they go through the issues of the previous day and what needs to be planned forward.
As you've built a reputation here in West Chase, and as we led you into the Woodlands, Clear Lake has some dynamics that I think might be interesting to you.
And we have a very interesting mix of tenants that we cater to. As a matter of fact, in this building, from the day we bought it 19 years ago, we hold a luncheon in the building where we invite all our tenants, which has in a major way helped our business to maintain this tenant retention.
Ayaz is also very involved in community activities and is active in the Greater Houston Partnership as a member of the Supervisory Board of the World Trade Division.
My role at the partnership has been to try and seek ways to forge those ties and relationships with other parts of the world. We are here to try and build those bridges between our city and other parts of the world so that we can try and encourage them to bring business, investments into Texas that will lead to employment for people, that will eventually lead to prosperity on both sides. So it's a constructive role that I think I can give back to my community over here.
Ayaz is active as well with the U.S.-Arab Bilateral Chamber of Commerce, the World Affairs Council, and the Asia Society of Texas, to name just a few.
America is a country of great beauty, of large resources, of truly wonderful people around it. But I think in many ways, fate perhaps brought me over here. From my childhood, somehow I had always an innate love for this country. And I remember the day when John F. Kennedy was assassinated. We were all young children in school. We had not known who John F. Kennedy was. But the whole school was so moved. In fact, I even cried that day. I don't know why. America had a tremendous image in my early days, and it had left a deep imprint on my heart of a great country.